On today's show, Anthony Davis is severely underrated. He's top 10 in the NBA. We'll tell you why in today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great,
your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave me alone.
Your team every day.
Gotta be born with a dog blood.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And joining me, as always, co-host, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years alongside me, the top 10 Titan, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
You know, just enjoying college basketball right now. Get to watch this Mavs team play about the same quality as basketball as some of these college basketball teams.
Come on. It's so slow. The end of games are even slower than NBA games. It's like a minute 30 takes like 30 minutes.
So many mistakes too. And I'm like, my wife walked in. She goes, "Hey, would you rather be a coach in the NBA or college?" And I so fast said NBA.
Wow, the
She's
paycheck
like,
is
much like, don't even, from the recruiting, NIL stuff, but also just like dumb mistakes too. But anyway, but it's still, March is mad. It's fun. And let's do this. Watching prospects the Mavs could take, which if you want to hear more about the draft, go back and listen to our pod with Rafael Barlow.
Yeah, we did our first draft show. We also did a show on if the Mavs could get Cooper Flag. So we did a show on that the other day. So check out that. Today's episode, we will talk about where Anthony Davis ranks in the top 10. Well, how do we evaluate two-way players instead of like one-way elite players? We'll talk about that. Also want to talk about what the Mavs are capable of if Anthony Davis returns next week or if he returns the week after that. Like, what are we looking at if that's the case? So it's all Anthony Davis today, starting with this, Isaac Harris. I think Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in the NBA. I started to go through it, and he has had an underrated season, like last couple of seasons where he's just been awesome. He's kind of been in LeBron's shadow, or he's definitely been in LeBron's shadow, but he was fourth in defensive player of the year last year. He was an all-star. He was second in the second team All-NBA. He played 76 games. And this year, he had played a bunch of games until he went out with the injury that he's out with right now. And he averaged 26 points, 12 boards, 3.5 assists, a steal, 2 blocks in 34 minutes. He is a two-way beast, and not just a two-way guy where you go, oh, he's really good on defense, and he's really good on offense. He is elite defensively. I mean, you got to take that into account. And then he's also a guy that can get his own shot, can play on offense, and do a lot of things offensively, play make, score, rebound, do a lot of things like that. We're not just talking about a Rudy Gobert. We're also not just talking about a Karl Anthony Towns. You're talking about some kind of combo of both of them. And I think that is when I start to think about Anthony Davis and go, yeah, there's been all this drama and all this talk about, well, the Mavs, they gave away a top 5 player in the NBA, top 3 player in the NBA, Luka. Yeah, but they did get a top 10 player back. And I'm pretty confident in my list that he is top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the worst kept secrets in NBA stuff was that he was the best player on the Lakers past few years. And it's in the shadow of LeBron's stardom. But when AD, and obviously we're talking when he's healthy, like fully healthy, he's this type of player. But yeah, I mean, I think the night that Luka got traded, it was so hard. There's so many emotions, still a lot of emotions. But, I think we were casually thrown out there. It's like, all right, you traded a top 5 player. You got back a 10 to 15 player somewhere through there. But I'm with you that Anthony Davis is a top 10 player. I have him towards the bottom of that. And I was kind of surprised by it.
10 is still 10. If he's in the 10, he's still top 10, right? Like,
that's actually where I have him, is at 10. And I was kind of surprised by it, but once I started doing my list, I was like, all right, because I do really, and you'll see when we go through our top 15, like I do really value the two-way stuff. This is why, I just never could get there with saying that like Luka is like the best player in the NBA. I still value. I feel like Giannis gets overlooked some, but I still really value Giannis, like having probably higher than a lot of people because of the two-way stuff and what he does on the defensive end. So in AD, when you start looking at guys who can have that monster of an impact on the offensive end, that monster of an impact on the defensive end, there's only a handful of guys that can do that.
Yeah, so let's start through it. Luka, Jokic, SGA, Giannis. I have them in their top, the top tier. That's the 1 through 4. I think those are the best 4 players in the NBA.
Yeah, are you going to rank those, or we're just tearing it off?
Well, I took after you, and I just did tiers. I just threw them in. I just threw them in a tier on their own.
I'll do that, but I'm actually putting Jason Tatum in that tier also.
Wow, I didn't go that far, but he's right after it. He would be 5 if I had to rank him.
I think with the title, I think how he's been playing this year, I think it's his best season so far, and I just what he can do defensively when he turns on the perimeter.
It's just great when you can play next to a Jaylen Brown, or Drew Holiday, a Derek White. Like, I mean, you're just capable of a lot when you're able to do that. I mean, it's just amazing when you're able to defend the 4th best player on the other end.
I think he's up. For me, it's a tier 5 at the top in those 5, and it's just crazy because you start looking at the other 4. We're not going to do this whole thing over again, but the idea of one of those other guys getting traded is like, all right, come on. And one of those 5 guys got traded, so it's pretty crazy.
The youngest of those guys.
But I actually think it's pretty, like, for me, it's like a clear cut at those 5. And then there's another category.
I would agree. Yeah, it's a clear cut top 5. Put Tatum in his own category if you want, or put him with the top 4 that I had. Wembanyama.
This is where it gets interesting. Yeah.
I also have Wembanyama in the next group.
Okay.
I would put Embiid here, but I'm not ranking him. He's played 19 games this year. He played 39 last year. I just don't know the stat. Like, he has debilitating injuries that not like what AD has, where people are like, oh, well, AD's got to play in order to be ranked. He played 76 games last year. You know how many times Embiid has played 76 games? How about 70 games? How about 69 games? Never. And
we're not even like talking about the half that AD played in Dallas. Like, before the trade, AD was on track to be like
42 games,
second team All NBA probably, and he's not making the first team because of those 5 that we just listed. So, there's a bigger, more recent, bigger sample size for AD to where it's like I'm with you. I didn't rank Embiid at all.
Okay, so Embiid would have been there, but he's not really. Then I have Wembanyama in that group, Anthony Edwards, LeBron, and I did put Brunson up there.
Whoa.
And that would be 9, and then AD comes in at 10. Brunson, he just raises his level in the playoffs.
You put Brunson over Steph?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Go comb your hair. But, I have Edwards and Wemby, and I have AD in this group also, and then we differ on LeBron and Brunson. I have Steph and Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, yeah, Donovan Mitchell and Curry I have right after, but. But we're saying Anthony Davis is in the LeBron, Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Curry.
No, he's above LeBron.
Okay, I don't think so. I think LeBron. I disagree with you. What you said earlier when you said I think LeBron has been better than Anthony Davis. You ask any Laker.
Have you watched LeBron play defense before the past? I don't know, 8 weeks.
Have you seen LeBron play defense since Luka got added?
I know, but like before that,
he's a different player. He's up there now.
Because of the past 8 weeks. Come on. AD's been the best player in LA the past 2 years.
They've wanted him to, and LeBron has still been that. Ask the Kamenetskis.
Okay. This goes into our second segment of the two-way stuff. LeBron has been a lot better defensively over the past 2 months. But before that, for the past year and a half, LeBron has been a statue at times on defense. Like, you're putting him in the category of like Steph, Luka, of these guys in the top group.
I mean, if we want to go there, and we will, how do you value two-way players compared to the elite one-way player that we have here? Because there are some elite one-way players at the very top of our list, and in the middle of this top 10 list as well. How do you
I have,
evaluate?
I have Brunson in a tie for 15.
That's not ridiculous in a spot there.
But you have
Coming
a
up.
clear top 10 probably.
Just threw that right in the middle of my T's, right?
Keep going in.
It's like I was going up the runway and the plane just like crossed in front of the. You're like, all right, now you gotta stop and start over and turn and come back around. Coming up.
So you have Brunson.
How do you evaluate? How do you evaluate two-way players
better than Brunson
compared to the elite one-way players in the league? I'll tell you coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Upwork. Upwork, you have so many things going on in your business right now. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. If you just have a project you need to work on, or if you have these, different positions where you have to figure out, all right, well, I don't need a full-time employee there, but I need somebody with expertise. It gives you flexibility. You can find top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, and other non-NBA named player initials, web development, marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. It's fast and easy hiring. Post a job free and simple within a day. You can get multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Visit upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's upwork.com, upwork.com to connect with the top talent and grow your business today. Also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. There's all kinds of action right now with March Madness. It's giving you the best chance to get in on the action in sports. Isaac, who are you liking right now?
March Madness?
Yeah.
I'm all in on this Houston team. I like them a lot.
I was all in on Auburn, and then that first game, it really didn't look like that was a team where I was like, ooh, they don't look
Aubrey?
like
Auburn?
Auburn. I'll burn you. I'll burn you if you do that again. FanDuel, go check out. New customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, even who's cutting down the nets. Visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long with FanDuel.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, what we call our listeners. Appreciate you for listening every day. April 8th, mark it on your calendars. Put it down. April 8th, 7 p.m., Four Corners Brewery, the same place that we went during the finals. That feels like so long ago. We're doing a live show. Myself, Isaac, Slightly Biased, will be there. Come meet us. Come therapize with us. The day before Luka returns to Dallas, we will be at Four Corners Brewery, 7 p.m., April 8th. Come join us. We'll be there. It'll be a good time.
Hey, does it smell like Upwork in here?
What's Upwork? All right, Isaac. We're talking about top 10. Is AD a top 10 player? And we both landed that he's a top 10 player. We have different players at 8 and 9 and 11 and 12, but he's definitely there. I thought about this because the Jazz GM Justin Zanuck was asked about this recently, and he said, well, the Mavs did get a top 15 player in AD, and I was like, oh, everybody has this, like, he's a top this player, and I wanted to go through it and see where he lands. And I think it's important for Mavs fans, as we feel how terrible everything is for the Mavericks right now, to just remember that they are getting a top 10 player in Anthony Davis. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. It feels terrible, and it feels like you gave up Luka for absolutely nothing because Anthony Davis is not playing right now. I get that. But that he is a top 10 player in the NBA. He is a super impactful player, and he is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. And so now how do you evaluate those kind of players? It's going to be very hard, I think, for me. We've defended Luka and talked about Luka and valued Luka so highly on this show for so long. And he is a one-way player. He can play defense. He can be good defensively at times, but he's not an elite defender. Like you can give me all the metrics you want. I'm never going to say that he's an elite, like impactful defensive player, right? I think that's fine.
You can be honest now, right?
You can he sucks defense. No. He's been good in his career defensively. We've defended him for so long. And so now the Mavs have this top 10 talent that is a two-way monster. Are we going to completely change and go, you know what? two-way player is much better than just being a one-way player, right? And so I kind of struggle with that with this, with the LeBrons, the Brunsons, the Currys, the guys that are an offensive engine unto their own and can create their own system. I still value that offensive, like what one player can bring to an offensive system that can take you to the next level in the NBA, which is why I still have Luka and Jokic as the best players in the NBA, SGA and Giannis right after them. But I think those guys just, it's so much harder to do that than even to do the two-way thing, right? Because Anthony Davis, he's not an offensive engine unto his own. We're going to have to figure out, the offense is going to have to be figured out between whoever else is on the floor with him and him.
Yeah, but I don't think that's always like a bad thing. That's like, hey, he's not the system. I mean, the dude can put up 40 games. I mean, the second or the 2 games before he got traded, he put up 42 and 20.
Yeah.
So like the dude can score 40 points in a game. He doesn't struggle on offense. It's comparing the let's say one way to two way, just for the simplicity of it. If your one way is that strong, then like a Luka, a Steph Curry, when your one way is one of the best in the entire NBA, then for me, you have to be the elite of the elite in that category of, like, let's say scoring, and you have to win. Like that's the big thing. Do you impact winning? That's why Luka is so high, even though he struggles defensively. And our whole thing has always been, I made the joke about, can we be honest? Our whole thing with Luka has always been effort. Like, Luka has the defensive capabilities in him. He just doesn't always try.
Is that the same argument that I would make for LeBron James right now, that he can still be that and he can be an impactful defensive player still, and effort is
he can for stretches. Not consistently over a whole year. No,
he takes his time off in March, and he's going to be back, and he's going to be a terror in the playoffs this year.
He took his time off until this Luka trade.
No, he took time. He's taking time off right now. I don't know where he's flying or where he's going, but you got to check the injection spot for LeBron.
But it's like, when I start looking at guys like Giannis, Tatum, SGA, these are two-way guys.
Yeah.
Even like Anthony Edwards, when Edwards has the ability on the defensive end. This is why I always have Wemby, or why I already have Wemby so high. Like,
yeah,
I have Wemby at like 7. And just because of that ability, and that's when you start looking at it and you're like, all right, there's only a handful of these guys that truly in an elite level can affect the game at such a high level on both sides of the ball. This was the whole conversation for so long about Kawhi. And like, dude, elite on defense. We knew young Kawhi guarding LeBron in those finals and all this stuff, but he had the offense with Tony and Tim and all those guys. And then he developed the rest of his offensive game. And you're like, oh crap, this is watch out league. And so like that's just the thing that like separates them. And I think it gives them, it's hard to like judge that of like what gives you the edge of the other, because then it just determines, like the Steph Curry thing. I've never been in the camp that Steph has been the best player in the NBA. I just couldn't get there because he's just not, he just doesn't have the body size to be an elite defender. Even as much as I love Steph more than I do LeBron, why
is Jokic the best player in the NBA though?
Because he affects winning at such a high level, and I think he what?
Curry's team won 67 games even before they got KD.
Yes, but missing the I think some of the teammates aspect of that too. Like, how many of these Denver Nuggets are going to be in the Hall of Fame compared to like Clay and Draymond? Jamal Murray going to be Hall of Fame? I mean,
the Canadian one.
Aaron Gordon, maybe
not the American one,
but once again, when Jokic is putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, then you can't. Like, that's the one lane of a Luka, the one lane of, I hear the Steph stuff, but it's like, that's why I couldn't put Steph over, and this is hard for me. I could never put Steph over LeBron as far as like a best player in the league, because when LeBron was younger, he was doing it on both sides of the ball. And it's like, all right, this is insane. So I don't know. That's just,
I think your point about Curry earlier, that you can never get to him as the best player in the NBA, was more about LeBron was the best player in the NBA, right? Like that there was a guy that was there that was doing it both ways like that. And so, I'm with you. And I think you could maybe talk me into AD being better than Anthony Edwards because he's not an offensive engine. He can get his own shot. He's amazing at that. And also, we have firsthand experience that he tried to take Kyrie in that playoff series. He's like, I got Kyrie, and he failed at that. Like he could. I don't think he is that elite defender like a Giannis or like an Anthony Davis or some of these guys, right? Like he's a good defender and he can be a really good defender, but I wouldn't put him on an all defensive team, and that's what you're talking about when it's all NBA. But AD it can be on an all defensive team. Like okay, so you could talk me into maybe 7 with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's why in the next group, like the 10, like the 11 to 15, like I do have LeBron right there at the top, but like I have like Jaylen Brown at like 13. I have, Devin. I like Devin Booker can play defense and stuff too. I still have KD in there. I don't know, the two-way stuff just really, unless you're elite, like a Jokic or a Luka or something like that, the two-way stuff matters a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I said the offensive engine is just always going to be ranked higher to me than a really good two-way player that is good on offense, but is not that same kind of thing. Which I guess I should have had Curry ahead of AD with that right there. But I don't think Curry's had as good of a season as he's had in the past necessarily. It's been better lately with Jimmy Butler, but
yeah, and I don't think there's one formula to say, hey, this wins, right? Like I think when you look at this list, I think what's interesting, and I think what is I don't know, like a comfort spot for Mavs fans is how many of these guys in our top 15 players in the league have already won titles? Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, Steph, Anthony Davis, LeBron, KD, and Jaylen Brown. So like you have one of these guys that has won a title playing both sides of the basketball and an elite at that. So then you could even go like as far as like bigs and narrow it down from there. Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, AD, and KD, as far as like bigs that have done that. So yeah, it's Anthony Davis is not Luka. We know that. But man, he is not like the 35th best player in the league. We're talking about a top 10 player in the league. And when he comes back and he's healthy at the beginning of the next season and all the different stuff, like he's going to be a monster and going to be a lot of fun.
Or if he comes back with like 10 games left in the season, what will the Mavs look like? What are they capable of? We'll tell you coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by, I am just hitting this wall and I just don't know what to do. It's 5 Hour Energy. That's what you should do. You hit that wall, you don't know what to do. All of a sudden, daylight savings is sneaking up on you. Feel like you lost an hour's sleep. 5 Hour Energy has your back with Basketball Madness. We're all staying up late. After a Mavericks game, if you need to just take some time and you find yourself staying up after and just staring into the abyss and saying, you know what, I just don't know what to do anymore. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors. That is a lot more flavors than I think I realized. Watermelon, blue raspberry, peach, mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. That's 5hourenergy.com. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized because more basketball is coming. The Mavericks will be back at some point. You're going to need that energy from 5 Hour Energy. Go get it now.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac. Are you subscribed to the Locked On Mavs newsletter?
I am. I get it every day.
LockedOnDaily.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. You get stuff from us every single day. You get stuff from the great Josh Lloyd, the hardest working person in NBA media, Josh Lloyd, Fantasy Take. You get Katie Heindel's great writing. You get more writing from all across. You get links and stuff sent to your inbox. It's a great way to just start your day to say, all right, what did I miss? And you get all that kind of stuff in your inbox. It's free as well. LockedOnDaily.com. Check the QR code. Check the link in the description to find that. All right. We talked about Anthony Davis. He's top 10 in the NBA. Great. The Mavs are going to get a top 10 player in the NBA back probably this year. He's pushing for a return. We talked about that yesterday. Me and Slightly on the postgame show talked about AD, the rumor that Tim McMahon said that he is the one pushing for some kind of return. And I thought that was very interesting. If Anthony Davis comes back next week, let's say like March 25th, okay, at the Knicks, the second night of a back-to-back, that's like the first one I think that I could see him coming back for. The Mavs have 10.
We're not debating on if he should come back, right?
No, we've already done that. We've done that. We've done that 100 times. You and I have done it. Yeah, you and I have done it. You and Slightly and I, you and Slightly have done it. I and Slightly have done it. Me, you and Slightly have done it. Like, we don't think he should come back, but he is going to probably, right? Like, he's pushing for it. He's practices the legends. They assigned him to the, like, it's gonna happen. If he comes back the 25th, they have 10 games left. If he comes back the week after that, so like the week after next, against Brooklyn, the first home, basically the next home game after this one coming up here on Friday, they would have 7 games left. What are they capable of? The Mavericks are basically 1 game back from the Suns. Both teams have 12 games left right now.
He's not coming back after the Laker game.
Well, the Laker game is April 9th. They have 3 games. It's the Lakers, the Toronto Raptors, the Memphis Grizzlies. That's the end of the Mavs schedule. Like,
yeah, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, for sure. That's why
if he comes back, it will be before the Lakers game.
How late do you think he could come back though? Because they've got.
I mean, we're at 12 games left already, so it shouldn't happen at all. So, like, any point at this point, it's just weird, right? Like,
well, but if he comes back with 10 games left, the Suns have gone 7-9 over the last month, and they've been healthy. If the Mavs just go 500, they can catch and finish over the Suns, and that's it. Like, and then all of a sudden the Mavs are back in the play-in, and then Anthony Davis maybe gets his redemption tour where they win that play-in game, become the first 10 seed to make the playoffs, and then maybe win a game against the Thunder, and then all of a sudden maybe we're feeling all right.
What's Portland's schedule look like?
Portland too. They're right there. But do you think Dallas can go over 500 with AD back in the lineup?
Oh, 100%.
He changes that much.
Yes, because right now this is where we're at in the season. Like, we've said this before. Of like, I joke about everybody trying to predict wins and losses, right? Throughout the season, because it's just impossible. You don't know all the stuff. This part of the season is the closest that you can do it in, because
let's do it.
It's so clear. Like, teams
at Chicago, win or loss.
Teams are so clearly picking their direction. I mean, that it's just funny. Like, the Sixers Mavs game, they're like, dude, I mean, the people being thrown out there in that game the other day, or that Sunday game, it's like both these teams probably wanting to lose these games. But then there's, different. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like, how many of these games have we seen that they play somebody and that team is really trying to tank, and it's like AD would clearly be the best player on the floor? That game the other day, PJ Washington was by and far the best player on the floor. I mean, PJ looked like Elgin Baylor out there. Okay. And it's like, this isn't a like legit NBA game. Anthony Davis would look like Wilt. All right.
I mean, Anthony Davis would be the best player on the floor for every game except for the Lakers game, for the Mavs schedule the rest of the season.
Maybe the Lakers game.
I mean, he on a night-to-night basis, he could be, but I think, like, overall, if you had to rank him, you wouldn't. But
yeah. Yes. If Anthony Davis, okay, let's say it this way: if Anthony Davis comes back and they don't make the play-in, then that's horrible too. Like, if he comes back and he gets hurt, worst case scenario, he comes back, you miss the play-in. That sucks. He comes back and you make the play-in, and then you lose to the Kings. Bummer. Like, I don't know how you.
It doesn't make it worse, right? Like, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it worse, and that's why we've said, Anthony Davis, why are you coming back? The risk reward is not there. Like, you're not going to get a reward for making the 10th seed and then not winning. All right, even if you do win, you got to win another game, and then even if you make the playoffs, then it's like, all right, well, you're just going to get destroyed by the Thunder, because this Mavs team is so injury riddled. It's not just, we're just waiting for Anthony Davis to come back and that's it. It's Kyrie is out. Exum is out. Like, Lively and Gafford, we'll see if they can come back too with AD. But I mean, they're just so down bad right now.
That's the thing, is if right now, while AD's been out, Lively's been playing, Gafford's coming off the bench, Kyrie's still killing it, and they're holding the ship afloat, they're fighting for this 10th seed, then the conversation's like, it's just about AD's health versus in the re-injury stuff versus this team now. But at that point, my whole thing would change at that point. I'm like, no, you bring him back.
If they had those guys, they would not be fighting for the 10th seed. They would be like 7th or 8th right now.
Yes, but you bring him back, right? And it's like we were fully in the camp of like, dude, if everybody's healthy on this team, OKC's maybe the only team that I would say we probably like. You go into every series feeling like you feeling pretty good.
But they have PJ Washington, so like even in an OKC series.
but it's like
The
right
God of Thunder.
right now we don't even know if they're gonna like have to forfeit games here at the end. Okay,
I know.
So I mean, wouldn't that be the ultimate like Mavs thing? Is hey, AD's back, but we're forfeiting these games. So
AD comes back, but two other guys go down. They all the 10-day guys or the 2-way guys run out of days, and the Mavs have to forfeit the first game. AD comes back, and it's the Lakers game. Like that would be the most Mavs thing of all time.
How would you feel if he comes back just for the Lakers game?
I thought about that. That would infuriate me so much.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because that would just be like basically a PR stunt. Because by then, I mean, there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 games between then and now, including this game tonight against the Pistons. Like they go 1-9 in that stretch. Right? They're gonna be like 3 or 4 or 5 games out. It's not like they're gonna be fighting for. They won't be fighting for anything if he just comes back for that game.
Okay, if you're sitting there, let's say the Mavs hired us and they're like, hey, we need y'all to be in this room right now, this conference room, because we're planning out the April 9th game. And everything's on the table, and they're like, listen, what are they're looking around the table and they're saying, all right, everybody, give me an idea.
We bring back the Slovenian trampoline jumpers.
Give me an idea for what will calm the crowd from being like peak uncontrol everything.
I love
What's some ideas around the table?
Scarves. I love Slovenia scarves.
So at one point, somebody raised their hand and said, hey, can we just forfeit this game? Can we just say all? I mean, that honestly, best case scenario, right?
Some guy in the corner with a calculator is like, all right, how much money will we lose if we just don't make any money on this game, have to forfeit it, give all the money, the tickets back, and like,
yes.
Is it worth it? Like what's the ROI on just forfeiting that game?
That is the lane. You have some injuries before that game, and then you say we don't have the players, and you have to forfeit that game. And yes, you'll take hits in the media, but you know what? You're not gonna. I mean, that day is just gonna be insane if the Lakers come in here.
The chants and the cheering, like I think that's why we're doing the live show the day before. Is because I think there's going to be so much emotion around that day that we just want it all come together. And I don't know.
So besides forfeiting the game, you're looking around the table and like you're looking at Nico saying, hey, we got to bring AD back. And AD first half again. We'll save it.
I mean, if they win, that's the only way that day goes all right for them. It's not going to go good. There's no way that day goes good for them. Goes well.
Well, no. Yeah, like no. Unless they win. Yeah.
No. But even if they win, I don't think it can go like great for them.
I don't know. If they win, that place is gonna be rocking and everything. And like if AD plays and they win, like that's it. I mean, Nico's probably spending every day praying for that. So
you think that's the only thing Nico's praying for right
now? They can't play around with the AD stuff and say like, hey, we just got to get him back for this Lakers game. Let him play like the final 5 games of the season and all that stuff. Like you can't do that.
But they may. We'll be here. I mean, that is 3 weeks away, and he like has practiced, so that means he's close to being cleared. So I mean, that's why I was like, could he come back next week? They'd have 10 games left. He comes back the week after. He'd have like 7 games left. The 10th seed is still in play if he does that because he's that good of a player because he's a top 10 player.
Okay, I'll say this. I think if he does come back, I think he's not hitting 30 minutes a game.
No, they got to do a minutes restriction. Good Lord. Like,
because I think it's going to be more of like AD's active and we get a little stretch here and there just so they don't have to forfeit some of these games outside of the Lakers game. You heard it here first. They should forfeit the Lakers game.
I'm sure we'll do a whole show on that a little bit later. But yeah, Anthony Davis, in the comment section on YouTube, if you're here, name 10 players better than Anthony Davis right now. That's what I challenge you guys to do in the comment section.
I bet they will.
I'm sure they would. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Check the newsletter, lockedondaily.com. Check the text line, Locked On Mavs text line. That you can get text from us. Also, come to the live show. It'll be April 8th at Four Corners Brewery. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom!